nitaihifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea katiba ya Kenya kwa mujibu wa sheria iliyowekwa. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu unisaidie.
Against a dense atmosphere of wrongdoing, Mwai Kibaki hurriedly saw himself president at an event that competed with a fast-setting nightfall. Events followed in quick succession.
You and I know what has happened in the last election.
Where ODM had won, we did not hear anybody complaining.
If you doubt us, you know where to go.
A chaotic tallying, muddled figures, an oath, and then eruption of violence.
It was quite clear that there was interference by the state.
Former Cabinet Minister Franklin Bate was with Raila Odinga during the tallying and after the announcement of the results.
Yeah, that Kivuitu man, the one who was saying the results are being cooked somewhere. And he made a very good statement that the results are being cooked somewhere. It was so bad to come out of him, but he made it. So he knew it was being cooked. We stood there kidogo. We didn't have space on the other side. So some of us were standing behind the electoral body. Me, I was next to Kivuitu and another Ambassador Tumwa. I was sitting next to, I was standing behind the two. I was telling, whispering to Chuck Tumwa, you are a fine man. Give us fine results. Even if the fine results are us losing, so long as they are fine.
And we knew what was going on. They were determined. They knew they've lost. They knew they will use the exercise of the police and they will shut us down.
Then all of a sudden, 2 columns of GSU started coming from my right and then doing a funnel. And then the electoral body officials, members, commissioners, were beckoned to stand up. And then they were told to walk. Then they walked through the 2 lines. One line on this side, another line on this side. They walked through. We were told to vacate KICC. And they were ready to beat us up. So we vacated.
We have had so many conspiracies and plans of how to finish our leaders. So in our understanding, we were more concerned and worried about our presidential candidate.
Lights were switched off at the KICC, and what followed was the shutdown of independent broadcasters. The chairman of the then Electoral Commission, ECK, the late Samuel Kivuitu, was escorted by state police to State House, where then Chief Justice Evans Gisheru had already been summoned to conduct the sunset rituals.
Only KBC was left to go up. The entire press corps was violently pushed out because they tried to resist. But ourselves, we didn't resist. We just walk away to go and wait for the results at the Pentagon House. But they were flushed out by force. I even remember some of them were injured and some of their equipment was spoiled.
The antagonistic situation that could not be managed by government of the day at that time will tell you that Raila somehow had good numbers. If he didn't win, as people could want to claim, but he had good numbers that can convince someone that Raila won.
Look at the number of MPs we got. Look at the number of regions that supported Raila Odinga. Almost the entire country.
At that time, Kenyans eagerly waited for Kivuitu's voice.
We didn't take long. At Pentagon House, watching those screens we had fixed up there. The announcement came. Kivuitu announcing the winner is Mwai Kibaki. The entire Pentagon House was into mourning. They simply broke down. Some of them even collapsed. I mean, I remember I had to be involved in first aid on some of them. Because that was the last thing to expect. That was the last thing to expect. Because that election was won by the orange team.
How was Raila then, I think, when the results were announced?
He simply stood up, walked into his car, went away. The one who, I mean, a large number, I don't want to mention the guys who broke, but they broke down. Yeah. William Ruto, again, also walked away. Henry Koskei walked away. So I was left, if I may say now on my part, I was left with Ruth Odinga to kind of pacify people, comfort people. We took time. Some of them were crying profusely. We took time to ask them, there is a future, there is hope.
So the moment you are not respecting that procedure and the tenets of democracy, where you have time to swear in the president, where you have also time to do all those state decorations until the time the president is sworn in, of course it casts doubt. And of course the speculation has remained up to today, even in Raila supporters, that Raila won in 2007. But of course, you know, the ultimate decision lied with the IEBC at that time.
We thought Kivuitu was in charge as chairman, only to realize that later that I think the pressure was too much, and maybe one would understand dealing with an incumbent is not easy. He has the instruments of power. He can intimidate, blackmail, and frustrate you into submission. And probably Kivuitu cracked at one point. He was not strong enough to hold his ground.
The events that literally set the country on fire. The 2007 election had preceded polarized campaigns.